Men, should you take a woman on a coffee date? Men, should you take a woman on a coffee date? What's up, everybody? My name is Kier, and you are watching The Important Things That Really Matter. Today, we're going to be talking about men, should you take a woman on a coffee date? Now, before I go into it, I want to say fair use, fair use, fair use. There was an article that was written by a magazine in New York, and I don't remember which article it was or what magazine it was, but there was an article that was written, and the written article was stating in a nutshell that many women were going out on dates just to be fed because the cost of living in New York and in other places around the country, the cost of living was so high that women were actually going on dates just to be fed, which to me, I thought, it's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But there are a lot of women out here that do that. Then you have to ask yourself as a man, are you willing to sit here and feed somebody that may not be interested in you at all, only because she just wants you to feed her? Now you may sit up here. Do you want to be a guy that sit up here, take a woman out for lunch, okay? And that evening, she's got a dinner date with another guy. And Tuesday morning, she's got a breakfast date with another guy, and a lunch date with another guy, and a dinner date with another guy. And Wednesday, she's got a breakfast, lunch, and dinner with 3 other guys. And Thursday, she's got breakfast, lunch, and dinner with the 3 other guys. And Friday, she's got breakfast, lunch, and dinner with 3 other guys. And Saturday, she's got breakfast, lunch, and dinner with 3 other guys. Okay, if you knew that that person was only going out with you so that you would feed her, and you're basically feeding a stranger, would you have taken her out to begin with? The answer would be no. And so I thought that the article was very informative, but at the same time, it let you know what type of scams that people are running on you nowadays, running on us men nowadays. And it almost sounds like some of the women that are out there telling women to finesse men, which to me is absolutely stupid, because if you have some women that are sitting up here trying to encourage other women to finesse men, they're actually putting themselves in danger, because if a man finds out that you are finessing him, not all men are good men. Some men will do harm to you if they feel like you have literally took their money and they're off to another guy. So one of the things you got to take in consideration that because of the cost of living, some women are literally out here allowing you to feed them, feeding a stranger, and they don't have no interest in you. So to me, I thought it was extremely bad, extremely terrible, and basically in a nutshell, you don't need to be used, and you don't even need to be scammed out of some food, let alone any other things too. So matter of fact, and I like to tell men also this too, and I'm specifically talking about good men. I'm not talking about them Pookies or Ray Rays or Chad people. I ain't talking about them people. I'm talking about good men that's got a good head on their set shoulders, high value men in most cases, and they're going somewhere with their life. They're trying to do something with their life. Their focus on life is to make themselves a better person and to contribute to society, as opposed to Pookie and Ray Rays, who's only interested in getting drunk, getting high, playing video games, and seeing how many women they can get pregnant. You have people out there that are like that. But anyway, so one of the things I like to tell men, good men that's got their head on straight and that's going in a direction, a good direction, and they are either a high value man now, or they're on their way to being a high value man. I want to tell everybody, just make sure that you don't get used by somebody. Now, one of the things I like to tell men in particular, is that you have to make sure. One of the things I would suggest to a lot of men is this: if you're seeing somebody or you're dating somebody and you find out they're seeing other people, cut them off, leave them alone. Why do you want to sit up here and compete, spend all your money, and this person sitting back, oh yeah, I got this guy spending money on me, and I got this other guy spending money on me. My thing is like this. Why do you want to be used? You can be put in that position for months where 2 or 3 or more guys are giving money to this particular woman, okay? You have more important things to do with your money, like starting a business, instead of wasting it on somebody that's wasting your time, that thinks it's funny for you because they think they're high value or whatnot, even though a lot of people who are trying to run this scam on men, most of those people are broke. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what the article was saying. A lot of these people are broke. They're barely able to make it, barely able to stay in their apartment, and now they got scam men out of meals morning, noon, and night. You know, and it was not right. One of the things I like to suggest to a whole lot of men, especially men that's of high value or on their way to being high value men, people that's doing something with their life, contributing to society. One of the things I will tell you, you know if that woman is seeing somebody else, leave her alone. Why would you want to be bothered with a woman who is seeing other people? If she's seeing other people, more than likely she's probably screwing around with other people. And if she's screwing around with you, do you want to be put in a position where you might get a disease from this person? See, nowadays, there are all types of diseases that are out here due to feminism. A lot of women feel like they screw around with whoever they feel like screwing around with, even if you're just one of the people. Okay, so what? What's the difference? Well, the so what is this. If she's screwing around with numerous other people, you don't know how many people that woman might be screwing around with. She can give you a disease like AIDS, HIV. She can give you herpes. She can give you this thing called blue waffles. She can give you antibiotic-resistant gonorrhea. Okay, there was a woman on the internet that was talking about how she got HIV for screwing around with 3 different men. Did you hear what I'm saying? This woman sat up here and got HIV for screwing around with 3 different men, and those men were screwing around with other women too. That's what she says. You know, she don't know who she got it from, and she probably ended up spreading it to the 3 other guys that she was screwing around with. So it's better to be safe than sorry. If you know this person is screwing around with somebody, leave her alone, cut her off. Don't be bothered with somebody that feel like I can screw whoever I feel like screwing. And I have a right to, and yeah, they got a right to, and you got a right to say no to them. You got a right to say no to catching some type of STD from them. Right now, I just read a report not too long ago. I think it was from the Center for Disease Control, which is in Atlanta. And the Center of Disease Control was saying that anywhere from 30% to 50% of women, I want you to hear this again, anywhere from 30% to 50%, anywhere from 30% to 50% of women have a permanent STD. Permanent. That means no cure for the disease or infection that they have. So what am I saying? 30% to 50% of women in general across the board have either HIV, AIDS, herpes, blue waffles, or antibiotic-resistant gonorrhea. Many of these people, from women from 30 to 50%, have a permanent STD, which there is no cure from. So if you're a man out here and you're dating somebody and you know that she's screwing around with somebody else, leave her alone. Why risk your life? I just gave you statistics. 30% to 50% of women have a permanent STD. That is a STD that there's no cure for. Why would you risk somebody who's screwing around with numerous different people and maybe giving it to numerous people? All right. Let me tell you something. And let me say fair use. Let me say fair use again. There was a woman. There was a woman who was dating this particular guy. And in actuality, the woman became pregnant. After she became pregnant, come to find out that the four men that she was dating, every one of the men thought that this woman was their woman. Every one of the four men that she was screwing around with was thinking that this woman was their woman. So this woman got pregnant. She didn't know who the father of the baby was. The woman went, and once again, let me say fair use. The woman went to take one of the guys, of course, it's probably the guy that makes the most money, take him down to get a DNA test on the baby. He goes down and take a DNA test. Well, now the man has paperwork saying that this kid is not his. So of course you know what the guy did. The guy kicked the woman to the curb, left her alone after that. Oh, so now the guy knows, he's got documentation showing that she's pregnant by some other man. So of course the guy kicked her to the curb, say, well, you go on about your business. She takes the second guy to get a DNA test to see if the kid is his kid. He's not the father. She takes the third guy to get a DNA test to see if the kid is his kid. The third guy is not the father. She takes the fourth guy to get a DNA test to see if he's the father of the child. The fourth guy is not this woman took four different men to get a DNA test to see if the child that she has is theirs. And all four of the men were not the father. So this woman was screwing around with at least 5 or more men. And each one of these men was sitting up here thinking that this woman was their woman. So this is part of what I'm talking about. This is part of what I'm talking about as far as some of the reasons why you find somebody that you find out she's screwing around with more than one man, just leave the woman alone. Don't even be bothered. Save your money. Save your money. Don't be scammed out of food because she can't afford her apartment or can't afford to be able to feed herself. No, it's not your responsibility to feed her. Now, let me qualify what I just said. Back to the subject again. Men, should you take a woman on a coffee date? What is the answer to that question? The answer to the question is yes, take a woman on a coffee date. Matter of fact, take a woman on 2 or 3 coffee dates. Now, I'm not saying that every date you're going to take them on a coffee date, but the whole purpose of dating is to get to know person, is to get to know the person. The whole purpose of dating is to get to know a person. It is not just for the sole purpose of feeding them. There's a reason why you're taking the person out. You're trying to get to know them. And if you are with a woman and that woman says, I don't do coffee dates because I'm special, no, leave her alone. That's a red flag that goes up. That's a red flag that goes up. If she can't go on 2 or 3 coffee dates and then you take her out to get something to eat. See, during the time period that you on this coffee date with the person, you're asking her a bunch of questions about herself, and some of the questions that you should be asking her is, are you seeing any other people? Are you seeing any other people? Are you are you sexually involved with other people? She may not answer that question. You ask the question and see how long it takes for her to answer the question. Or if she is avoiding the question a little bit too much, then she's probably screwing around with other people, which also kind of lets you know maybe you should leave this person alone. Because why do you want to spend time with somebody and she's screwing around with 1 or more other people and screwing around with you? That's how HIV gets passed along. That's how AIDS gets passed along. That's how herpes get passed along. That's how blue waffles get passed along. That's how all these diseases get passed along. See, nowadays you have a lot of people who feel like they screw whoever they want to screw. And I have women that hear me roar and I don't have to answer to nobody. Well, I'm telling you this, it's up to you And this is the purpose of why you're taking them on a coffee date, is to get to know them. You don't just sit there asking stupid questions. You sit there and you ask them many things about themselves. What do they like to do? What they like to do, and then slip in there, are you dating other people? And then you ought to make the determination. If the person tells you, well, I'm dating, okay, do you really want to be bothered with the person? See, in the past, women used to date one person at a time. Now, a woman might date 2, 3. I just gave you an example. Here's a woman that'll screw around with over 5 different men. And when she get pregnant, she's taking 4 different men down to get a DNA test, and then come to find out that none of the 4 men who thought that she was their woman, none of them were the baby's father. So, of course, they got rid of him. Okay? So, I'm telling you, don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Take them at least on 2 or 3 coffee dates. If the woman say, I don't do coffee dates, that's great. She saved you some money. And on the coffee date, you get her some coffee, or you might get her a donut or croissant or something, or maybe even a sandwich. Okay? But the whole purpose of the dating process is to get to know the person, to find out what type of person this person is, and to see if you all on the same page or not. Okay? Here, one good thing to find out, ask the woman, is Megan Thee Stallion, somebody you really like? If the person talk about, oh, that's my idol, you might want to leave her alone. And any other female rappers like Sexy Red or some of these other people, some of their favorite artists, well, they're going to be like the artists that they're attracted to, the artists that they like the most. Do you want somebody whose favorite artist is Megan Thee Stallion or one of these women that's walking around with half no clothes on? That right there's a red flag to let you know that maybe there's something wrong with her. You may not want to be bothered with this person, because she already feels, based upon the people that she's interested in terms of artists, she may feel like she can screw around with whoever she wants to, because her favorite female rapper is saying, hey, you do whatever you want to do. You screw around with whoever you want to screw around with. These are things you need to take in consideration. You need to ask this woman a whole lot of questions about herself. Ask about her future plans. Ask about what she wants to do in the future. How does she feel about children? How does she feel about marriage? How does she feel about relationships? How does she feel about any of those things? Is she the same religion as you? The whole purpose of dating, the coffee date, or any date in general, is to get to know the person, not to go broke. If you talk to a person, she's talking about a guy should spend at least $150 or $200 right off the bat, and you don't know her, get rid of her. Let her go. If she sits up and tells you, I am special, and I know I deserve more than a coffee date, get rid of her. Get rid of her. Her mother hasn't trained her properly. If she was trained properly, she will automatically know that the purpose of dating is to get to know the person. Get to know the person, not necessarily go broke. And if she is requiring you to do crazy stuff, spend large amounts of money, and you're getting little to nothing out of it, leave her alone. Once again, it's okay to take the person on a coffee date. And if the person says, I don't do coffee dates, that's great. She's listening to somebody who probably doesn't have a man giving her advice. Once again, many of these people who's telling people that they don't do coffee dates are people that don't have a husband and don't even have a boyfriend. So if they don't do coffee breaks, if they don't do coffee dates, that's great. That's a red flag for you, and you let them go immediately. Because there are some good women out there. They'll be like, yeah, I'll do a coffee date. Take them on a coffee date a couple of times. Spend some money for a donut or a few items of some tea or a sandwich or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Keep everything low cost. You keep everything low cost as much as possible because you're trying to get to know the person. I went out with a person one time, and when I went out with the person, I come to find out that while we were talking, come to find out that she only believes in having one child. I'm like, what? She only believes in having one child. And if a man that she's dating, if a man that she's married to wants more than one child, he's selfish, and she don't believe that the man should have more than one child. She don't feel that she should give a man no more than one child. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I said, well, I guess that shows that you and I are not compatible. I just told her right off the bat. I said, that's showing me that you and I are not compatible because I want more than one child. Okay, and so let me tell you what the woman said. She said, you sound like my girlfriend. My girlfriend is very well-to-do. She's very well-to-do, like you, and she wants several children. So I tell her, I was like, okay, well, if you got a girlfriend, she's well-to-do financially, she's doing well financially, I'm doing well, and things are going well with us, why don't you introduce me to her? Because you and I, we don't want the same things. You don't want to have no more than one child, and your girlfriend, she wants to have at least several children, which is along the lines of what I want. And so when I told her, I said, why don't you just introduce me to your girlfriend then? This woman said, if I ain't happy, ain't nobody gonna be happy. I'm like, wow. No, she did not just say, if she ain't happy, ain't nobody else gonna be happy. Now, no, I'm not gonna introduce you. And I'm like, that's messed up. So anyway, needless to say, I didn't see that woman no more. I did not see that woman anymore. And so, once again, brothers, once again, men, it is okay to take a woman on a coffee date, and if she says she don't do coffee dates, she saved yourself some money. She saved you a whole lot of money. Remember what I said in the beginning of the video. Remember what I said in the beginning of the video about the article that was written where these women were going on dates 3 times a day with 3 different people every day. And the sole purpose of these dates were not to get to know the person, but their sole purpose was to be fed by these 3 strangers at real nice restaurants. And the wild thing about that is that after you take one of these women to a real nice restaurant, she get the doggy bag, and she might be taking the doggy bag with the rest of the food that she didn't eat. She might be taking that back home to her man in the apartment who she's going to be screwing around with. So basically, in a nutshell, you done fed this woman, and you also feeding her boyfriend back at the apartment that she's going to screw around with after the date is over. So, but you don't know that you're feeding her and her boyfriend. Okay, so what I think you should do also too, this channel is for the those of you that just looked at this video. Is good for you to go look in my channel and look at the video series on the child support hustle. Look at the video series, The Child Support Hustle. And it goes into a lot of good information as to things that you need to look for to stay away from women who will try to get you caught up in the child support hustle. All right. The sole purpose of this channel is 3 things. Number 1, 3 or 4 things to help you start a business, help you to run a business, help to save you thousands upon thousands of dollars, and to help you to have a successful relationship. So, would you please like? Would you please share? Would you please subscribe? It's very important for you to subscribe. I'm trying to get this channel to grow and to be a benefit to many people in society. And please look in the description box and donate to my PayPal or for my Cash App to keep this channel going and to support this work to help you men make better decisions with your life. All right, now, peace.